Are you tired of having the willpower of a crumbling little biscuit? Well, then you're in luck, my friend, because I have put together a list of 5 exercises you can start to implement to finally get the mindset of a warrior.
Why don't we begin by discussing the farmer's walks? Oh baby, this exercise will train your endurance like nothing else. Yeah, you can go for a 5-mile run, but it's just not the same as having heavy ass weight literally drag you down as you attempt to battle through the pain with every step you take. Don't get me wrong, this is an excellent full body exercise that will train a whole bunch of muscle groups from your neck all the way down to your calves, but it's primarily a trap builder. I don't think I need to mention that traps are probably one of the most important muscle groups to develop to look big from literally any angle with or without clothes. Let's talk about how you can get the most bang for your buck when it comes to endurance. First things first, grab the weight with your naked hands and just carry it for as long as possible until your grip gives out. But that's only half the work done, because then you're going to strap up and carry the weight without needing to actually grip it. Then you're going to take a little break, put the weight down, breathe for a few seconds, no more than 20. Then you're going to pick the weight back up and go again until you physically can't take another step. But you're not going to put the weight down, because this is where the real fun begins. Now you can push your traps to beyond all comprehension as you start repping out those power shrugs. Alternatively, you can do a static farmer's hold, but that's just not as fun, is it? Another variation of this exercise you can do is the suitcase carry, in which you only use one side at a time. This is fantastic for training your core rigidity and your ability to brace under load. And as for endurance, it's really very simple. You can literally just keep switching hands until you physically can't take another step. If you want to experience the most brutal form of farmer's walks, find a staircase and walk up and down. Just be very careful, because you can seriously mutilate yourself if you take a wrong step. The next exercise we're going to talk about is called the Zercher hold. Some of you hardcore motherfuckers already know what's up, but for those of you who are yet uninformed, allow me to explain. Quite simply, you are using the crooks of your elbows to hold on to weight for a prolonged period of time. It really is just as simple as that, but that doesn't mean it's easy. This is a highly uncomfortable position to be in, especially for a prolonged period of time. Doing a set of squats or lunges with this is already difficult enough, but what actually happens to you when you try to go for 4 or 5 times that length of time? I'll tell you what happens, Cupcake. You become very mentally strong, because the pain you're going to experience in your crooks of your elbows is going to be surreal. You don't want to grab the bar with your arms perpendicular to the floor, because that makes it a lot more comfortable. Rather, bring your hands together and link them up in the middle. If you want to take the pain and brutality of this exercise to a whole new level, you're going to pick it up and take it for a walk. Oh, and did I mention you will get a similar weighted stretch on the traps, kind of like a farmer's walk. Next exercise on the list is the dead hang. It needs no explanation, just grab a bar and hang from it. This is an exercise that is commonly known for being excellent for the rehabilitation of the lower back, shoulders, wrists, elbows, you name it! It's just an all-around fantastic exercise for stretching out your structure and making all of your joints feel like $1,000,000. But that's not the point of this video, because it is also a very good test of your resilience and your will to just push through pain and suffering and just keep on going as long as you possibly can. Trust me, you can hang for longer than you think if you just use the power of your mind to suppress the need to let go. A lot of the time, people will simply drop down because it becomes too painful and their grip actually still has some stamina left. As a matter of fact, exactly like the footage you're witnessing now, I know for a fact that I probably could have gone on for at least another 5 seconds. Just like in the farmer's walk, once your grip fails, you are more than welcome to strap up and keep on going until you literally can't stand it any longer. Let me use this opportunity to dispel a very popular myth. The dead hang does not work the lats. You heard me. Take a look at this footage. I've been hanging for over a minute, and yet I can still crank out pull-ups like they're nothing. What does that tell you? Look at those reps just flying up. Full stretch with chest to bar at the top. The only muscles that are being worked during the dead hang are the forearms, because they are the only thing supporting your entire structure. In fact, it feels like I'm actively resting during the dead hangs. If you want a variation of this that actually does work your back to a great extent, why don't you try doing holds at the top of the movement? Your arms will get good stimulus as well, and then when you can no longer hold yourself, you can just drop and keep hanging at the bottom. If you want a version of this exercise that puts even more strain on the forearms, why don't you try it with fat grips? You'll be lucky if you can hold on even half as long as you could with the normal bars. Next entry on the list is what I like to call Transcendent Squats. That's a lie, I didn't actually come up with that name because Transcendent style of training is already a thing. The reason I call this Transcendent Squats, it feels like you're transcending to a new dimension. Seriously. You've probably tried 20 rep squats before if you've been training for a while. But I ask you this, have you ever tried to go to 50 rep squats? Actually, 50 reps is a bit of a misnomer because the whole point of this exercise is that you don't even count the reps. But how do I progressively overload? Listen mate, this is not a hypertrophy exercise. If you want massive legs, bro, just do squats in the 5 to 10 rep range and you'll be all good. I cannot stress this enough. You are probably not going to reach muscular failure on this exercise, but rather entire systemic failure if you can hack the pain of cranking out reps after reps after reps after reps with absolutely no end in sight. The reason you don't count the reps is because the first 10 will be quite easy, the next 10 will be significantly more difficult, but then after that it starts to get kind of easy again until it reaches a whole new level of pain that you can just keep on pushing through, because all you have to do at that point is just rest at the top, just stand with the bar completely locked out and just rest for a few seconds and then do another rep. Trust me, you will feel muscles working that you didn't even know existed or had anything to do with the squat. This is why I cannot stress enough, if you want massive legs, this exercise is useless. The last entry of today's list is going to be whatever physical combat you can manage. For the purposes of the demonstration, I am simply pummeling an inanimate object. But honestly, if you want the most iron mind you can possibly achieve, you'll spar with a real live opponent who can pummel you right back. However, something must be said for being alone, just you and the bag, because nobody else is watching. There's not really anyone to compete against. Only you know if you actually pushed it to the limit. Push it to the limit! When you first start punching the bag, you're going to lose stamina very quickly. At first, your punches will be sharp and quick, as much as they can be for your experience level, of course. And then towards the end of the round, you're going to be throwing flaccid, swinging haymakers that look like absolute garbage. The real point of this mindset exercise is to try and stay on form throughout the whole time you're punching, although that will be impossible. Now, with all of that being said and done, that was the exercise list. However, you can't just slap them around your training program willy-nilly and expect no interference. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned, because I will be making a lot more videos detailing actual programming principles and how to write your own training plans, which will then incorporate all of these exercises mentioned above. Love, peace and blessings, kings, warriors and samurais.